out the cameras. I think camera operators have also
Hello.
For safety reasons, so we were limited on the shots.
My feed is an hour behind.
On the phone.
They canceled the concert in the middle.
Erica, just in terms, it looks like there's still a fair amount of people who are
because of a lightning strike within 10 miles.
There definitely are, and as I was saying earlier, the people who were at the very front of the stage, that had cleared out. But now, Anderson, there are people. I mean, there are still people moving out, but there are more people. Attention.
This is an hour behind. That.
Yeah. Erica, given where this is in Central Park, there's not a lot of, the announcement had said sort of seek shelter or, to leave. There's not a lot of places in a park like Central Park where you can really, for large crowds of people, to seek, a physical structure for shelter. So for people who are actually leaving to look for shelter, or it's a question really of exiting the park itself, And I think we lost Erica Hill as well. But that is one of the dilemmas, obviously, for people who thinking about staying, not sure if they should just kind of roam around the park or
right. Well, people coming from other boroughs, people who traveled from out of state. I know people who were coming in from Washington, D.C., Boston today. Something, though, that you touched on earlier, I was interviewing on a segment with Claude Davis's son, Doug Davis, earlier today, who helped executive produce and put this concert together with his father. And he said that he really felt like this We Love NYC concert was saving lives. And what he meant by that is that, the requirement to have one dose of the vaccination, and that he said that many people
Wolf, you can talk to them.
Got that first dose of the vaccination just so that they could attend tonight. And I think that right there, like Mayor de Blasio was saying, incentivizes people to, whether it's dining indoors in New York City, being able to go to concerts, being able to do things again.
Concert got canceled in the middle of the Barry Manilow song.
Yeah, certainly. Just looking back in Israel, there's been studies done on the there's a lot of data that's come out of Israel that we base a lot of decisions in the U.S. on. And early on, when they got vaccinations, a lot of people got them, but it wasn't until companies mandated that every employee in their company had to get it that the numbers really started to grow in Israel. That's really the hope of someone like Mayor de Blasio, that if the only way to get into a gym or a restaurant in New York City is to have at least one vaccine, that's going to be
really anyone for
people. And as you said, this concert as well. Erica Hill is
Hummus
with us. Erica, there's not a lot of places for people to go if they are trying to seek shelter in Central Park, right?
No, there definitely aren't a lot of places in the park, especially obviously if you're worried about severe weather. And in terms of places, to your point, Anderson, around the park, part of this was a celebration of the 5 boroughs of New York City. It is not just for people who live around Central Park and who live in Manhattan. And we heard that a number of times, recognizing Staten Island and Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Queens. If you're coming in from some of the outer boroughs, you may not have a place close to go to. I heard at one point someone say, we'll get in your cars. Most people who live in New York City likely to use public transportation as you do. It's the best way to get around. So as to where people would go, that's unclear. Maybe you go find a restaurant or a bar, but we're talking about tens of thousands of people at this point, whether you're going down to the subway. It's just very confusing. I'm watching some of the staff here, too, and as I said earlier, I was speaking to some of the security staff asking if they've been given further instruction. The gentleman that I spoke to said they hadn't. Doesn't mean that other members of the security had not been given instructions, but these people had not, and they were confused as to what to do, too. They weren't clear in terms of what they should give in terms of instruction. What I'm seeing now on the field is I'm seeing people actually coming out, one person with an event staff shirt, at least 3 of them now, and they're now clearly asking people to move, and they're asking them to move away from the stage, move out of the area to get safely to shelter and to get out of the car.
And Erica,
again, though, where they go.
What is the weather? What's happening in the park in terms of weather? I mean, it's hard to tell from the shot. Is it raining heavily? We haven't seen much looks like lightning.
We haven't. We thought we may have seen lightning, and it was at least 5 minutes before they shut it down, maybe even more like 7 minutes. Right now it's raining. It's not raining hard, but it is raining. A little heavier than it was at the beginning, but it's not a downpour.
Yeah. Let's check in with Chad Myers. Chad, just in terms of the timing of all this, how's it looking?
Well, honestly, Anderson, I've been going back through minutes and minutes worth of lightning data from all across the country and trying to sort out what actually hit the New York City area. And from what I can tell, there were actually 6 lightning strikes that actually touched the ground from the cell here that is now moving over the lower Hudson. I guess we'll just call it that. Moving just here.
Kind of like COVID. You think
Park
it's
here, Central Park being right
clear
there. That's
skies,
where the heavy
and it's
rain
not.
Eric was talking about has just arrived. But the back edge is all the way back to JFK. It's already stopping raining here at JFK. And I know there's no going back to where we are now. What's done is done. And we got more than half of it done. And 5 innings is a full baseball game in the rain. But here comes the rain still. It's going to get heavier again. There still could be more lightning. Now, for the people that are out there trying to find shelter, this is a serious situation. But this isn't completely life-threatening like a tornado or a severe thunderstorm with hail and lots of lightning. You just need to not stay under a tree, for sure, but get to someplace inside that you can kind of wait this out for 15 or 20 minutes. Then make your way to Uber, Lyft, or the train, or wherever you're going, and get back home. So it's a little bit of shelter, but there's just a lot of people trying to get a little bit of shelter, even if it's in a small convenience store or wherever, just trying to stay out of the rain. And you can really barely find a cab when it starts to rain in New York City because everybody dives into them and they're just nowhere to be found because they're all driving right by you. So,
by the way, there's hardly any cabs left in New York City. The cabs are few and far between these days. Erica Hill has learned something under.
It was supposed to be a 5-hour counter that got shut down.
There may be some discussions about trying to bring this back. I can't say right now in terms of the rain. It is coming down much heavier right now. That has changed while you and Chad were talking. Even if they were to bring it back, Anderson, I'm not sure how that would happen. But again,
they said it was canceled.
There is some confusion at higher levels, not just here on the ground.
And my feed is an hour delayed.
See that rain.
Now I
Clearly,
see the
there's
rain.
going to be a lot of bars and restaurants in around Central Park on the Upper West Side, all over town, frankly, that will suddenly get a big boost of business because you now have some, I don't know, tens of thousands of people who are seeking shelter and also, want an evening of entertainment to continue the party that's been going on in Central Park.
It was shut down after
absolutely
2 hours and 50 minutes.
Out of the park. We're still trying to assess what is happening and get some more information. But I am pretty confident that as soon as we do leave the park, you will see not only a lot of people on the street, but a lot of people trying to get into any establishment that they can, especially as the rain really picks up.
Eric, I want you to collect some more information. Chloe, it's really, it is such a shame, again, for people who are just joining this concert, which was underway. Barry Manilow was in the midst of performing, and suddenly an announcement was made about lightning, and therefore that the concert had been stopped, and that people should seek shelter. Elvis Costello had yet to perform. Maluma, Bruce Springsteen,
Patti Smith, and Paul Simon. When you think about the fact that Clive Davis had been working on this with his son and Live Nation for 8 weeks, calling upon friends, Clive saying that the first phone call he made was to Bruce Springsteen, who he signed to his first record contract. I've been texting with Clive's son, Doug Davis, trying to find out, is this canceled or not? Because there are so many mixed messages. While other people I know who are there right now messaging me saying that they're waiting off to the side asking me, is this going to be happening? Because they want to go back and see these icons perform.
I heard, Eric, I believe you have some more information.
We are now hearing from multiple sources that they are trying to bring this concert back with or without people in attendance, that they are hoping that they can continue with the planned act. We still had 2 hours plus, I think, of music planned, ready to go. This was scheduled to go until much later this evening. So if they can make that happen, if they can continue the concert, which of course you'd be watching on CNN, they are trying to figure out a way to do that.
That would be a good idea.
But let's put this into perspective, right? You have Maluma, who is one of the biggest Latin artists right now. And when you think about all of the artists who came in, rearranged schedules, and went through all of the COVID safety precautions to make this happen. You could understand why they are, and you can only imagine what Clive Davis, those conversations are right now that are happening on site about trying to save this in some way. Because like Clive and Davis's son had been saying, is that this was their gift to New York City. They wanted to reward the city that they grew up in, New York, coursing through their veins, and give back to the city that is back, amidst the backdrop of this COVID-19 pandemic that we've all overcome. And, so many of my friends, my brother, people who went to this concert tonight, so excited to be there. Live music is something that we've all missed. And like I told you, Anderson, I've interviewed countless stars over the last year who have told me on Zoom while I'm in my living room and they're in theirs that there's nothing like performing in front of a live audience and how much they miss that. And also I want to point out all the artists, though, it's not just, MSG and these venues that are requiring COVID-19 vaccinations, right? A lot of these artists don't want to perform unless the audience is vaccinated. So you're seeing that big push as well. And like I said, Garth Brooks canceling some upcoming dates because he said, I have to do my part here too.
Yeah, I spoke to Sharon Stone recently on the show, and she had been speaking out about wanting to be on sets only where people had been fully vaccinated, where everybody on set had been fully vaccinated. So it's certainly something that the city of New York is now focusing on in terms of letting people go to bars and restaurants and things like that, making sure that people have at least started the vaccination process with at least one shot in order to gain entry. But as you can see there, a lot of rain coming down. It's bringing Chad Myers as we continue to look at these pictures. Chad, looks like there's umbrellas out, no people, cameras are there. I mean, it seems like all the performers backstage are hunkering down in place, waiting to hear what happens. Is it possible, from just in terms of weather, Chad, that this may continue?
I think due to weather, yes, we will be out of here. This whole thing will be gone in 30 minutes. Now, that's not my area of expertise, whether they're going to start this again, obviously. There were lightning strikes, and it did violate the airspace, the 10-mile radius around the concert, and that was the bottom line. They said you can have this. If it's raining, you can make a mosh pit out of this place, but cannot have lightning with this many people outside. And as soon as the lightning got close, they called it. And that's where we are right now. Still seeing a little bit of heavy rain, still moving through Queens, getting almost to Manhattan. So although we're seeing heavy rain at the venue right now, it will get a little bit heavier before there's just really nothing else back behind it. There's hours worth of good weather behind it. And this is one outer band of a hurricane that's 270 miles away. And there are no other outer bands anywhere around except right where we didn't want it.
Let's go back, Chad. Thank you. Let's go back with Eric. And so it seems like, Chad is saying sometime within the next 30 minutes. He said that the rain might get a little bit worse first, but there's nothing else following up with this particular band.
Which is good news. So I can tell you, I've now walked up into the very front of the stage where everybody was. I can tell you there are a number of NYPD officers in front of the stage and on the stage, and you see a lot of people, who look like they're in discussions about what could happen. The equipment on stage is quickly covered up, as you likely saw, as they were preparing in case they needed to come back when this passed. Again, the big question is, can they do this? So can they get the performers back on if this passes quickly, as Chad is laying out for us that it could, and continue with the concert, even if that means, of course, no one here in the park, but could they then continue with what had been planned before the severe weather moved through? And that's what we're getting further clarification on.
Erica, I wish we had the video of Diana Ross performing in Central Park at a free concert. Yeah, this was, I don't even remember what year it was, but I was a lot younger then. But it famously started to pour with rain, and she continued performing, and it was sort of one of those iconic moments. And I'm sure there's a lot of performers who are there tonight who would be more than happy to just, go on stage, even if the rain is pouring down, as long as there's not a safety concern of light.
Yeah. It was really the lightning is my understanding. And obviously that would be the concern, especially when you're so exposed and you have the trees all around you. We've got metal barriers all around. But I think you're right. As Chloe was talking about earlier, so many of these performers, this is such a large part of who they are as artists, is being able to share their artistry, their art.
I don't know. My feed's an hour behind, but
and to be able to do that again in Central Park,
I don't know that they're going to restart it.
Almost just like it's not enough. But you're right.
It's also
so
it's also just a super bummer. I mean, the whole concert is about resiliency. It's about New York coming back. It's just a bummer to have an outer band of the storm kind of put a damper on things, literally.
It really is, and it's literally a damper in this case. What was interesting is we heard plenty of people in the crowd. They didn't want to leave. Yeah. They were here for it, and we heard multiple people say, "A little rain's not going to hurt us. So we get a little muddy. So we get a little wet. It's fine."
Until we get hit by lightning.
They were handing everybody a poncho. So people were prepared. I saw people take out those free ponchos as they were, maybe feeling a drop here or there, waiting to see what had happened. And people did really hesitate for a little bit. It didn't seem. It seemed a little strange when that interruption came in the middle of Barry Manilow. And from my vantage point, it seemed like Barry Manilow wasn't really, he was still singing, it looked like, and everybody was turning around, looking at one another. I was looking at my producer. We were looking at our photographer saying, is this really it? What's happening? And that confusion really, I think, was rippling throughout the crowd, along with, to your point, Anderson, this resilience of this, hey, go home, it's a little rain. It's not going to hurt us.
Yeah, not only
it wasn't the rain, it was the
about
lightning.
Made it through the rain, which, again, would have been iconic for having him singing that when it's pouring with rain.
I'm with you. So maybe if we bring it back, we start on that line.
Want the rain on? That'd be perfect. We're going to take a quick break. Is the concert on? Is the concert off? They want to try to have the concert even if people are not there. We're going to take a short break. We'll have more on the...
My feed is an hour behind, but I don't think they restarted it. But I can look on Twitter. Wolf, do you know how to use Twitter? Why don't you look? Wolf was saying, don't talk to me in that tone, or I'm not going to help you. Okay, sorry, Wolf.
And Maluma, and later... We love New York City. The homecoming concert is presented.
It got canceled in the middle due to a lightning strike from an outer band of the hurricane.
Let's grab a beer and toast to a...
Maybe the message is when you think the pandemic is over, it isn't. All right, I'm going to look. See, and wait, what does that say? Protest over ban on what? Ban on Black Lives Matter pride symbols? That's a high school thing. All right, let me look. New York City concert. Let's see. Storm halts We Love New York City homecoming concert mid Barry Manilow performance. Yeah, we know that. Did it restart? It's dramatically canceled halfway. Evacuated due to hurricane. But if my feet's an hour behind, I'm looking to see if anything changed.
These used cars look the same.
Suspended. Like they'll suspend the drum corps when they're outside and there's lightning, but then they can restart them later. Okay, so let me see if I can find anything.
Dads are great, but let's say, show me the Carfax value. You get the most accurate price based on the vehicle's accident history. Look for me at Stopover Pay. Shop at the all-new Carfax.com.
Wellness, here I come.
New York City declares state of emergency. Braces for landfall from Hurricane Henri. What's canceled, what's not? Canceled due to hurricane. Wait a minute, 4 hours ago. That didn't even happen until 1 hour ago. How could that be? How could that have been posted 4 hours ago?
business is all about.
Wait, 6 new messages.
Service has always been about.
It's not canceled?
Changes. We're changing.
All right, read the comments, watch CNN. I'm watching CNN, but my feed is an hour behind.
2-day shipping nationwide. Same-day shipping across town. Returns right from the doorstep.
He's in a tent waiting, 10 p.m. Okay, thank you.
Let's not keep it waiting.
10 a.m.? You mean 10 p.m.? Live acoustic? Okay. Thank you for the information, because I couldn't find it online. I was looking. Right now, I was trying to figure out how they posted something 4 hours ago for something that just happened an hour ago. Live acoustic with the Killers. Like, I didn't expect this to happen, or I wouldn't have a live feed an hour delayed if I thought that, because they said the rain wasn't supposed to hit till tomorrow.
Jerusalem, city of faith and fury. An all-new episode tomorrow at 10, only on CNN.
Mattress World Northwest wants to make your Labor Day shopping easy. Get a free head-up and foot-up adjustable base with select sets above $6.99. No one can get you a Stearns & Foster, Beauty Rest Flap, Eye Comfort, or Posturepedic for less. Rest easy with free delivery and the Mattress World Northwest comfort and price.
Yeah, thank you. I just didn't see any. I didn't see any of the comments because I had to scroll to see them. Sorry, but thank you. I'm reading the ones I haven't read yet. Not canceled. Coming back at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific with Don Lemon. That's okay. In a tent. He's in a tent. Okay. People in Portland are used to going to things in the rain, but there was a lightning strike within 10 miles. Anderson Cooper was on the phone with those who stayed. Yeah, this is what happened when you have live breaking news happening when I'm watching a feed that's an hour delayed. Maybe I should end this stream.
Of the sitcom tomorrow night at 9 on CNN.
Yeah, thank you for your help.
Welcome back. We are to our continuing coverage of the We Love New York City concert, which right now is on hold. As you can see, there is a lot of rain hitting the concert venue. What you're looking at there is the stage there on the right-hand side of your screen, and the empty grass area where people have been standing and some were sitting earlier.
How many people were there?
80% of that concert was free for free tickets for people. 20% was VIP tickets for people who paid I believe, to sit in the seats in front of the stage. Barry Manilow had been performing, was about to perform. I Made It Through the Rain, and they called the concert because of the lightning strikes. So let's check in with Erica Hill, who is at the concert venue.
Like I said.
Erica, is this,
maybe the message is
was that they were going to try to
COVID isn't over yet.
The concert, with or without the audience, if the weather changes. What do you hear?
We are still trying to
okay, thank you.
Where their heads are at, frankly, with the decision. The other thing that I would point out is, as everybody was leaving, everything's shutting down. So we saw a lot of the security staff that was hired for the event.
Thanks for saying thanks.
It's not clear if they were then being moved into perhaps an area where they could stay dry in case they were needed. I mean, I'm actually standing in a concession tent right now, which has been fully broken down. The tables were just put away. We're standing here with some.
At least one dose, yeah.
We're all trying to just stay dry.
But that doesn't keep you
They were selling food and here
from getting the Delta variant or spreading it.
So again, not clear if they were to bring people back in. I don't think that they can. So they would just, if they're doing it with no one here, we would see it on TV, which would be amazing. But again, we can't get a straight answer on that. I think
there's less risk of hospitalization or death, but
can they get through what they had planned?
Someone I know,
It was a pretty incredible show, as we saw.
His cousin died of a breakthrough case, like today, yesterday.
Here I know Chad said that it's going to dissipate in a little bit.
She was in her 80s.
Before we came in and sought shelter under this tent, we did see a number of officers up front.
Yeah.
That was to keep people away from the stage.
Very few people had masks. I wouldn't have been in that crowd without a mask.
People were discussing what was happening on stage, but it was still pretty quiet up on that stage. There were only a handful of people.
It's okay. Oh, about Gary's cousin. Yeah, thank you for saying you're sorry. That's sad.
It's tough to have those performers back on stage.
a family that lived
Yeah,
a lot longer than their 80s.
With Chloe Nellis, what are you hearing?
So I have been messaging with Clive Davis's son, Doug, who says that they are trying to bring the concert back by 10 p.m. and that his father is currently in talks with Mayor de Blasio, going back and forth. Clive Davis and Mayor de Blasio having conversations right now about what to do, right? I mean, as you see, a monumental
That is a
undertaking.
scary time.
This would normally take months, crammed into 8 weeks to put this together, to get the biggest music artist of the last century.
I'll stay on.
And I just
They
got
won't.
video of these VIPs and
They're not going to pull my broadcast if there's no music on it.
They're in a
For
enclosed
copyright.
ish area back there, just kind of waiting in the wings to see what's going to happen. So although people may have gotten in cabs and subways to head home, I think that there's still hope that we might get to see possibly.
Yeah, but are they really going to let people back in?
Sing in the rain, which again, like you said, would be
I love that song, by the way.
I have to say, we talked about this earlier, Anderson.
I made it through the rain.
Most iconic performances of all time have taken place in the rain, like Prince,
It's true.
Super Bowl halftime
Diana
show.
Ross. I keep thinking of Diana Ross. I'm waiting for the video.
One of my favorite songs, "Singing in the Rain," Gene Kelly, right?
I know.
Just saying.
So the idea would be, from what you're hearing,
Wolf wants to talk to people.
A concert, say, from 10 o'clock till whenever.
Well, tomorrow is Sunday, so
And unclear which acts. I don't know. What's unclear is would all the performers who were slated to perform still be able to?
That is my understanding. So, after Barry Manilow, we were expecting to have, I believe, artists like Maluma,
Right.
And then Bruce Springsteen.
Elvis Costello, Patti Smith, Paul
Exactly.
Simon.
Right. So, again, some of the biggest names that we were waiting for, although, we've had 75% of the show with incredible people.
I
like
could turn.
Carlos Santana, Jennifer Hudson, the New York Philharmonic. But, yeah, from what I'm being told and from the video I just got, these celebrities, they're still there. They're still waiting.
Okay, I think probably the biggest question tonight is, does Barry Manilow continue his performance?
4 more
Or do they
outfits.
just move on from him? Is Barry Manilow still there?
Well,
let's try to get Barry Manilow's call in.
DJ Cassidy,
Give us a call.
Patty
Because
Smith.
I assume he wants to perform that song as well.
He was doing like a medley of all his greatest.
I know.
Okay.
Andy.
I know, he did.
Oh my God.
What?
I was waiting
I have
for
the closed
Maluma
captioning on
because I
too.
love him so
What
much,
did he just
and then
say?
Sounds of Silence, The Graduate. I mean, I've seen that movie so many times. I wanted to have my Simon Garfunkel moment, but minus the Garfunkel
Well,
in Central Park.
Simon Garfunkel actually played a free concert in Central Park in, I think it was 1981. But maybe they did too.
Were you there?
I honestly don't remember. I know, I think I was at a James Taylor free concert, which would have been like 79.
Okay.
80. Yeah, but, yeah, I mean, would have been like 11 years old.
I think that also just
11 years old.
I think so many people.
Was he born
also came out to
69?
see Bruce Springsteen,
Oh.
the boss, and obviously he's a legend, especially here in the Northeast. So obviously, we have been tracking at CNN, throngs of his fans were coming, and they are devoted. So if they hear that the boss is still on premises, I could imagine that all the cafes around Central Park, up and down Fifth in Central Park, are all
Well,
kind of
there's no
filled
doubt.
with people.
Will they let him back in?
Concert again at 10 o'clock. There's no doubt a lot of people who were at the concert who have, passes and tickets and who have been vaccinated would want to come back if they were able to, the question is, Eric Hill was just saying that a lot of the security staff who had been hired for the venue, they obviously, they're not visible at least, and maybe they're just
18-pound jacket?
I think that also part of the conversation is between Clive Davis and Mayor de Blasio about with an audience or without an audience. And I think that obviously the safety of all of the concert goers along with the performers is obviously the number one priority right now. But what I'm hearing though is that they want Clive and his son Doug.
Is it really
for the
18
show
pounds?
to go on, as cliche as that sounds, the show must go on, even if that means without an audience. And they're trying to make that happen because again, the lengths, this mega moment, right, that this concert is, it's not that easy to just say, you know what, we'll just do it the second part in September.
Right, just the sheer number of, the top talent that they have waiting backstage still.
I can try and turn on the live feed on my
and again,
computer and mute it. Hold on a second. Here, Wolf, you talk. Wolf doesn't talk.
We know though that
He only
Carlos Santana
DJs.
would probably still get back on
Carlos
stage.
Santana doesn't believe in time or gravity, so this is nothing for Carlos Santana because what's
It's like,
2 hours?
whatever.
It's 10 o'clock. It's nothing.
Exactly. So you know that he would go back on stage.
Well, if I can't see, though.
You wonder what we're talking about. Carlos Santana came here after he performed today, and we taped an interview that maybe at some point we'll play, which was just, it was illuminating. Like, he was just such a cool guy, and in a different plane of existence.
And he wants to have a television show with you.
He talked about doing some programming for CNN, maybe CNN Plus, which I'm all for.
Exactly.
And I don't make the rules around here, but, you know, if he wants to do programming, I'd hear that pitch meeting.
Right. Well, you know, he also said that something that I really liked is to lead with gratitude, and how he was overseas and that we all, he saw it on a street sign somewhere, and that we should all live with gratitude more. And I did find that poignant, though, given everything that we've all been through during the last year with the COVID-19 pandemic, to be thankful for those little moments, those little things. So,
wow, he really changed. He touched your life tonight.
Yeah.
I put something with a hashtag gratitude earlier today.
Sort of like,
you said it was one of your favorite interviews of all time.
well, I don't know. I was carried away in the moment.
Okay.
Where's the mute button,
I
though?
don't know who's going to hold up with the course of time, which of course now I know does not exist.
Okay, and his new album, which is coming out very soon, by the
He said he was going to send a lot of stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not holding my breath, but he was a lovely guy. I really liked him.
I do have to say, though, that
And I kind of wish I could
cannot
live in
believe
the
sheer amount of celebrities that we are getting to call in, but I just got to know where are John Lemon and Gail Kim.
Mute.
But I will say, though, that in terms of living with gratitude, like Santana said, these words to live by, I will say, though, that at least that we've seen 75% though of this concert.
Not
75%.
No, we saw the
About half.
It's been fun.
Yes.
2 hours and
Okay, definitely.
2 hours and
Check in
50
with,
minutes of a
Ted
5-hour
Myers,
concert.
Who is all about gravity and time.
I have both feeds up now.
I'm an expert at it. I drop things all the time. Gravity works. I tell you what.
The live feed is
just
muted.
At the radar here. We'll kind of
The audio's
back
an
up
hour
where we
behind.
were and where we're going. We had 6 lightning strikes in the New York City area. We'll call it of all the boroughs. And 2 and 3 were inside the cone or the circle that was the cutoff.
Who's the girl? The woman.
This concert is canceled, and you can see them flashing. And they're still flashing a little, but not much. Can we get this going? I'm not sure. Every time we get a lightning strike, you really want to back the clock up 30 minutes and wait for another strike to not happen. Baseball games do that. NASCAR does that. Anytime you get a lightning strike within a certain radius of the racetrack or the ball field, whatever, you kind of have to wait it out again. But here's the irony here.
Yes, well, if you can stay up later, if the concert goes past your bedtime.
One outer band that ruined our day, literally, from Henri. This storm, we knew it was way down here. It's still 270 miles south of Long Island. But it just put one little batch of clouds from New York City down to Philadelphia and all the way down to Atlantic City itself. And that's what we got ourselves into. Almost any other place across the country would have been just fine. But we got the little band of rain that's going to hit. Now, looking back on all this, the lightning strikes and the cancellations, this is going to be the least of the problems for the New York City, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts area.
I need to mute you and blow my nose.
Over the next couple of days.
Hold on a second. Yes, this is the point where I should take my medicine.
Getting into Nantucket, getting into Narragansett, getting into and north of Long Island.
Yeah, full moon makes the high tide higher. Full moon's tomorrow.
Roadways or other things that we don't want. You get another tide that could be 3 feet higher than this number, and then all of a sudden you do have a surge because you almost have little catchers in it there in the Sound or Narragansett or even Port Chatham. Rain is going to be heavy. The problem with it is the wind that we've had and the rain that we've already had is going to knock these trees down. These trees are sitting in...
They said half of the people are going to lose power?
15 inches of rain in Worcester. And they're big trees. These are big, big trees out there. And the leaves are on the trees. So it's
Flash
not
flood
like an eraser
threat.
where the wind can just howl through the branches. You have this block, which all the leaves, all the foliage of those trees will try to knock down that tree and knock off the branches. So flash flood watches, flood warnings, and rain. Obviously, there can see much saltwater flooding, but could see freshwater flooding as well because the ground is already saturated. Where's it going to go? It's just going to run off. So New York City, tropical storm force winds arrive around 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. The peak winds 40 to 50 miles per hour between 3 and 6 o'clock tomorrow. Rainfall 2 to 4 and surge anywhere either up the Hudson or maybe down the East River. If that water gets into the Sound, it wants to rush itself down past LaGuardia and down the other way. A little bit farther off toward the east in Montauk, winds are going to start at 8 o'clock because it's a little bit closer. And that's where the storm is going to be closer to that area, so the winds will be higher. Peak winds could be...
Where's the storm surge right now?
There. And even farther up to the north into New London, we could see 60 to 70. And that's going to be 3 to 8 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, farther inland, farther over Long Island. And so there you go. City
what time
city,
is it that I took my medicine?
East,
6:35 p.m. Let me write that down.
surge, but the tree
Can you move
problems
over,
and
please,
power
Wolf? Thank
outages
you.
could be tremendous from literally a landfalling 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm, not like the storms that Charlie and Gene and Francis that you and I had to battle so many years ago, Anderson.
Chad, we'll check in with you shortly. I'm joined on the phone right now by Barry Manilow. Mr. Manilow, it's Anderson Cooper. Can you hear me?
Anderson, really, I would love to give you a wisecrack, but it's such a shame that this is happening. It took so much work for so many people to put this show together. It really, it just is so disappointing.
Well, Barry, to me, the shame is you were on the verge of singing "I Made It Through the Rain," and it was, to me, it was going to be one of those iconic, like Diana Ross singing in the rain in Central Park, and I was so ready for that, Barry.
Oh, really? So was I. So they just came in and cut us off and threw us off the stage because they were afraid of lightning. It was getting very dangerous out there.
Yeah. Did you know this was coming when you were on the stage? No, you didn't.
No. Well, when I was in the wings, I saw it start to drizzle, but I had no idea it was going this far. And my music director, Ron, give me a chord. I made it through the rain. I kept my world protected.
I love that song.
I kept my point of view. I made it through the rain.
And found myself respected. Rained on too. There's still some people there. I guess
maybe one of these days we can do this again, and it won't rain.
Barry Manilow, you just made our week. I mean, that was awesome. By the way, do you have a musical director just standing by at all times in your life?
Well, yeah, we're all huddled in our dressing room, and we have a piano there, so it was easy. Thanks for asking us. I was so looking forward to seeing it, and now I just did.
I'm so glad. But you were so great on stage. You started with
cut him off in the
Banana,
middle of his
was a
song.
classic, of course, New York-based song. You moved into Mandy.
They're letting the audience back in.
I had this long medley of all the hits.
I know they were all coming. I could tell.
To do it. Yeah, I was so excited to do it. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
You know what? I mean, what you just did. I'm so glad you actually did it because I mean, there's some talk now that they may try to bring the show back on even if an audience isn't there. Have you heard that?
Well, I've been hearing both ways. We're ready to go. Whatever happens, we're ready to go.
Okay, now here's the question: would you start if they brought it back? Would you
start in the middle of the song
again, or would you just go from right where you left off with Mandy and just bring in the other hits?
I don't know. I'll tell you what it feels like when we get up there. I've got so many songs. I could take care of the whole night.
You got too many hits, Barry Manilow. You have too many hits.
Too many. I know you're right. The Jewish guilt is kicking in. Stop.
No, Yashanda, don't let that happen. Listen, hey, I actually once went to a concert. It's a long story, but Prince was playing in a hotel room at the Gansevoort Hotel. I don't know why I was invited, but I was. And on the stage, he kept saying, because it got later and later in the night, he kept saying, I got too many hits. I got too many hits. So that's what I say to you, Barry Manilow. You have too many hits. You've recorded.
Can't be enough hits. Sorry, can't be enough hits.
I'm looking at the record here. You've recorded and released 51 top 40 singles on the adult contemporary chart. 13 of them hit number 1. 28 appeared within the top 10. 36 in the top 20. And you are still going. I mean, you are ageless and timeless.
I'm just getting started, Anderson.
And so, was this the first? Have you been performing at all? Is this the first time you were able to be on a stage?
Yes, this was the first. First of all, not only as performing, but to get together with the band and my group and my crew, and this was a wonderful, wonderful experience up until this rain hit. So we hadn't performed in a year and a half.
Wow.
We were so excited to do this.
Were you nervous at all? I mean, obviously, people were vaccinated in the audience, but still, it's obviously the first time back on stage after this Mishigas.
Yeah, no, I was not nervous. I trust that everybody. Well, first of all, they wouldn't even let us in the park without making sure that everybody was vaccinated, and we must have taken 3 tests in 5 days. So I felt very safe about that, and I felt very safe about the whole event. It was so well put together too. Honestly, it's such a shame that this happened. It was so. I went to the men's room and you could eat off the floor. It was so clean. They took care of everything.
I don't recommend that, Barry.
I know. But you know what I mean? It was so together. It was so together.
Yeah.
It really is a shame that I hope, I would love for them to do it again, but it's such an incredibly difficult event.
Barry, I got to ask you a question that's been on my mind really for a long time since I first heard Copacabana. And I'm embarrassed to ask you this, especially publicly. Is it music and fashion were always the passion, or is it music and passion were always in fashion?
Yes. Well, music and passion were always the fashion.
Thank you. You know what? This has been debated. You would not believe how many times I brought this up with people and wondered, and now it's been answered.
Okay, Anderson, if that means a lot to you, okay.
Let me just ask you, because I don't know if you're stuck there. I'm enjoying talking to you, so please, if you got to go, just give me a hint or something. Just say wow, okay.
This is such fun.
Okay.
Really, it's such fun on a terrible night.
I know. Really. So you're in a trailer right now with your team and a piano?
Yeah. We are next door to Patti Smith. What is it, Patti? Yeah, Patti Smith and Elvis Costello, and I think there's a couple of more people in this particular.
I guarantee Patti Smith and Elvis Costello are not having as much fun as you are having in your trailer.
Well, that's because of you.
Well, I don't know about that. Actually, Barry, I do. Elvis Costello may have been the first concert I ever went to for his Armed Forces album. It was either that or Grandmaster Flash of the Furious 5, because at the time they had their song White Line.
Talented guy. I love what he did.
I have to blow my nose again.
What you got through, I actually now have your set list for what you're going to play. You got through Copa, you did Mandy. It was going to be I Can't Smile Without You. Even now, Weekend in New England, ready to take a chance again. Looks like we made it. Daybreak, this one's for you, and I write the songs, and then I made it through the rain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been great.
You're gonna, you know what? If you're able to stay tonight, and I think they're going to do this concert. I think they're going to start it at 10 o'clock. That's the word that's floating around. I certainly hope that's the case.
Well, if it stops raining, we're there.
Yeah. What if it's no lightning or thunder but rain? Would you still go for it?
I'll go whatever they want.
Wow.
Really, sure.
You're a trooper.
We're all, the only big problem is it keeps raining. The electricity, the band, all the machinery that's outside, in the rain. I just don't. I can't. I've been down this road so many times, and other venues, and when it does rain like this, they can't do it. They can't plug anything in. They all, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I could see an acoustic Barry Manilow tonight. I think I'd go for that.
Well, let's see what happens. I do hope they can bring us all back. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, listen, Barry Manilow, I don't want to keep you because I'm sure you have more important things to do than
You're too much. Thanks for asking me to do this, man. Thank you.
It is such a joy. Is there anything you want to sing us out with? I know I'm pushing it.
All right, give me a key. Okay, flat. I can't smile without you. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile.
Hello.
Without you.
They said they're going to restart the concert
And in such good voice, too.
15 minutes.
Man, Barry Manilow, God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anderson.
You made our night. Thank you. And I hope you get back on stage.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Wow. I mean, I gotta say, for live television moments.
Okay, so first of all, the power of Anderson Cooper. You literally did what Oprah talks about, where you spoke it into existence, where you said, imagine, Barry, if you're listening, call in right now, and Barry picked up the phone and called you.
No, I'm sure somebody, some smart, enterprising producer just
and then he's saying, I made it through the rain.
I mean, incredible.
I just want him to go next door to Patti Smith and Elvis Costello.
Yeah.
And Barry, why don't you tell him? Call
I should have, that's what I should have done.
Elvis Costello.
I'm such an idiot. I should have said to him,
knock on their trailer.
Barry, just send somebody over.
Yeah.
Knock on and say, you know what, we're having a little kiki.
Yeah.
And come on over.
Yeah.
We're all singing into the phone.
They got the Killers on CNN.
You just have everybody FaceTime in tonight and just do it from Barry's trailer. He has a piano in his trailer.
Wow. This night has been really a revelation I don't know if we're ever going to play this Santana interview. Frankly, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm sure they'll be in control and there's a lot of important things going on. But it's been a revelation.
I think that what this is the night of the unexpected, and we just don't know what's going to happen next. So even if this concert doesn't happen in the next few minutes, it sounds like we might just have the artist call in and perform
one by
a
one.
solo show for you.
One by one. Exactly. Eric, I'm sorry I didn't hear you. I think you said we're going to take a quick break. I'm plugged the control room. We're trying to find the Santana interview, perhaps. We'll have more from New York. A concert that may not be over. A concert that may come back, just like New York, the city itself. We'll be right back.
So the feed on my computer is live and it's muted. The feed on the TV is an hour behind. And it's still raining on the feed on the TV, but the feed on the computer, it stopped raining.
Yeah, no pain, no gain, okay? Yeah, I know. It's just, hello?
Gosh, I can't even see.
Fire.
I took my glasses off. Maybe I should clean them. 101 viewers?
No, it was on.
Woof, what did you eat for dinner?
City Custom Cash Card.
You ate your dog food?
Clubs, gas stations, restaurants, and more. Earn 5% cash back that automatically adjusts.
And Barry ate the unicorn food? Okay. And Bo ate the horse food?
People with moderate to severe psoriasis or psoriatic arthritis are rethinking the choices they make, like the splash they create, the way they exaggerate.
And I ate the Portland Burger Week vegan burger earlier, and the vegan Caesar salad, and the hummus and challah.
For psoriasis, 75% clearer skin is achievable with reduced redness, thickness, and scaliness of plaques.
And Coca-Cola and allergy medicine. That's a well-balanced diet, don't you think? Oh yeah, woof. I need to remember to take my high-dose vitamin D. Thank you for reminding me.
It may cause severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting. Otezla is associated with an increased risk of depression. Tell your doctor if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts. Or if
Why
these
is it
feelings
saying
develop.
20% battery
Some people
power?
face
Is the
weight
charger
loss.
charging?
Your doctor should monitor your weight and may stop treatment. Upper respiratory tract infection and headache may occur. Tell your doctor about your medicines and if you're pregnant or planning to be. Otezla, soon more of you.
The best ingredients are easy to explain. Like food that's grown from soil and grain. Artichokes and egg yolks have nothing to hide. Unlike the acid dicarbonamide, our domain is...
If the concert restarts in 11 minutes, I'll turn off this broadcast even though I'm an hour behind. But let's wait and see if it does.
So icky products are banned from our store. Saying no to that stuff is more than a goal, because that's what makes us whole.
Outside this house, fear gathers.
What's that?
To know the truth, they must know the mystery of Charles.
You gotta be able to roll with the changes. Isn't that what they say, Wolf?
Do you think Father's okay?
This is why you want farmers claim forgiveness.
You want to join the broadcast? I don't know how well that would work. It might put feedback on there.
We are farmers.
Was that your great-grandmother?
I mean, you want to join from your own account. Why does it say... why does it say that?
Did they brave Mother Nature?
Do they face the unknown with resolve and triumph?
Is that written on the calendar on the wrong week?
There's strength in every family story.
Learn more about yours at Ancestry.
My daughter didn't need to die. The price of freedom. August 29th at 9 Eastern. And welcome back to our continuing coverage of the concert that was, and then it wasn't, but it still may be. The We Love New York City NYC concert.
It is still raining.
That made it through the rain in Barry Manilow. If you were just joining us here on CNN, things have completely gone off the rails. A lot of rain and the lightning strikes, so the concert, everyone had to leave. As you can see, the venue, all the celebrity stars are in like a big venue back in the backstage. They're all still there. Barry Manilow, kindly, we reached out to him, I guess, and he called in, and he just performed for us from his trailer, where he has a piano. He's there with his friends and his team. Maybe they're watching. I'm forever appreciative of Barry Manilow. He had a piano. He sang I Made It Through the Rain, which is what he was going to sing, and it would have been such an iconic moment, him singing that while the rain is pouring down. It would have, been akin to the famed Diana Ross thing, which we can't get the video for either, but it's like a movie playing in my mind right now. And Barry Manilow was just a joy, wasn't he?
First of all, that I'm getting tweets right now at me saying that this is New Year's Eve Anderson in August right now. So
I haven't had any shots, but I feel like I have, because Barry Manilow just, he writes his songs.
Well, like we were saying though before, his trailer is right next to all the other big stars. So we just got video of some of the celebrities who are backstage hanging out because people are waiting to see if they're.
His trailer is next to Patti Smith and I guess Elvis Costello as well. Which, if they want to call in too, I would totally sing some Armed Forces stuff with Elvis Costello. Oh, here's Diana Ross in the Rain. Check this out. Seeing this, if you're straight, maybe this is the first time you're seeing it, but it's worth it.
If you can reach out and touch somebody.
Oh, Where's the rain? No. There's the point is, no, okay.
Whoa!
Thank you, whoever got the clip. But the point is, when it starts to rain, she famously is like, it doesn't matter, like, I'll stay if you stay. And then she, like, and then she's there, and the rain is pouring down, and she's, like, being Diana Ross.
Is that it right there?
It's not raining. No, she's talking about the rain, and, like, she's saying about, if you stay.
So were you there? Were you there at that one, too?
No, I wasn't there. But
so many
no, but, like, it's iconic. It's something, if you're of a generation, you might.
So you claim she sang in the rain, although there's
no
video.
There's a picture. I saw it just
Erica,
now.
Erica, things are off the rails here. What's going on there?
I am actually in the rain, so if you need somebody in the rain, I'm your girl. But you don't want me singing. You've known me long enough to know that that's a bad idea. In all seriousness, I can tell you that we are under a tent. It was at one point a concession. They have cleared everything out. They're taking the signs down. They are kindly leaving the tent up for our team, and about a dozen NYPD officers were also under here with their ponchos on. We just saw a little bit more lightning. We just heard a little bit more thunder. Rain is coming down fairly steadily. People just kind of waiting to see if, in fact, if this decision is made, as Chloe's been talking about, to bring the performers back to try to finish that concert. That is what we will see. People have cleared out. What's interesting is I actually had just learned from our colleague, producer Carolyn Song. She was at one of the entrances around 7:30, and she told me at 7:30, just before this was called, that there was still a long line of people to get in. And keep in mind, it was a much more extensive screening process than you would normally see for an event in Central Park, as they were checking everybody's vaccination status, or perhaps other identifications they needed, checking their bags. You weren't allowed to really bring anything in. So as all of that was happening, that was taking a little bit longer. So then there's still people waiting to come in. We had seen event staff presumably all leaving in a big group. These would be event staff who would be dealing with people in the park. I don't see a way that they would bring anybody back. So obviously they would be leaving for the evening. But again, we're all just kind of on standby at this point as we wait to see. I'm looking at the stage.
They did let some people come back in.
I don't see any movement on the stage at this point from my vantage point. But again, maybe Barry Manilow knows more than we do in terms of whether they're going to bring people back. But the rain hasn't let up yet. That I can tell you.
Wow. So it's Eric. I mean, I know you were saying earlier that the security staff, which had been hired to for the crowds, that they obviously are out of the rain. Have they gone away? Have they been dismissed? Because if they're no longer there, then it seems very highly unlikely that the crowd would be allowed to return.
But I see people an hour later, they let them back in.
Some. We were really confused for people who were just joining us when they were moving people out. I was asking some of the security staff what their instructions had been, what they were told to tell the concert goers, and they hadn't yet been given any instructions. We did see a large group of them moving out. I haven't seen any more of them now. It's not clear if they just went to be somewhere perhaps in shelter. But it's tough to imagine any way that you could bring tens of thousands of people back into this park. Again, this was it's a massive undertaking when you're not dealing with a COVID-safe concert. But when you think about all the extra security measures and checkpoints that were put in place, even as a member of the media, we went through 3 different checkpoints on our way in, as our bags were checked, as they checked our vaccination cards for a second time. I don't see how they could bring that many people back, certainly not in a timely fashion.
Yeah. Erica, we'll continue to check in with you.
Well, I'm just messaging with Doug Davis, who says that the concert, according to him, he's the son of Clyde Davis, that they are going to be bringing it back at 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock?
Yes.
That's the plan.
Now, again, obviously this is all subject to change. You just heard Erica saying that she saw some more lightning, heard some more thunder, and obviously that can't happen at 10 o'clock if there's still lightning and thunder.
Right. But if there's not lightning, it could be
the show will go on without an audience.
Right. That's the news. That's the latest right now. We'll continue to follow that. We have, as I mentioned, Carlos Santana, amazing Carlos Santana, stopped by after he performed at this concert. We talked to him. This is the interview. It's.
It was said I should turn this off.
It's free form.
Bye.
Joining Chloe and me right now, it's Carlos Santana.